A very good afternoon, and thanks for clicking on to the Thursday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. Interesting tweet here put out yesterday by meteorologist Matt Hugo. Quite interesting how he's highlighting the downward propagation of energy and, of course, the influence of the stratospheric warming that was seen ongoing during the month of March. And, of course, if you've been following me here on the channel for quite some time, I've been alluding to the prospects of a more blocky and colder April as opposed to what we've seen back during the winter season. Of course, we've seen the record strong polar vortex during the month of February. That, of course, stirred up a lot of storminess, cooled the North Atlantic by almost a degree, and now we've seen the water temperatures coming back up again. Very quick fluctuations in the sea surface temperature profile to the west of the UK, depending on the type of weather pattern that we've got. But it's interesting how we're still seeing the downward propagation through the levels of the atmosphere from a way up at the top of the stratosphere right down to our level right here at the surface. And this is increasing the possibility of blocking during the second half of April and into even May. Now, we have had a lot of northern blocking of late, and at this time of the year things change because, of course, we are seeing the sun angle increase. We're seeing the dynamics change within the atmosphere, and even with high latitude blocking, you can get some pretty hot weather even at this time of the year. And that's why I kind of said a couple of days ago that the temperatures that we've got this week is nothing really to write home about. 22 degrees in the southeast of the UK isn't anything significant for this time of the year. But nonetheless, we do have a warm run up to Easter. And as stated in yesterday's video, it looks as if we've got a tale of two halves. We've got a warm front end to the weekend, and then increasingly wet and cool with low pressure moving in during Easter Sunday and then Easter Monday, and temperatures come back down as well. But it's going to be interesting as we go towards the final, say, 10 days of April, exactly what type of pattern that we get. We do, of course, have a colder than normal setup at the moment. We are likely to see that cold anomaly get eaten away by the warm days that we've got going at the moment, with a considerable lack of cool around. And we could very well revert to a warmer than normal April towards the end, but it all depends on the type of pattern that we do see developing. But you can see here, this is off the weather charts website here, and the current setup, very warm compared to normal across much of Europe, with the exceptions of Turkey. We've seen some fluctuation over war-stricken Ukraine as well, where the ongoing situation is very, very bleak there indeed at the moment. And we are going to see through the next several days here that kind of flexing of warmth versus like slightly less warm, of course, by nighttime, but nothing particularly cold. It's some very warm temperatures across Iberia, as you can see. Very chilly temperatures here developing Central Europe down into Italy, Greece, and into the Balkan region here. Very chilly indeed. But you can see this fluctuation in temperature here. And then as we go towards later next week, there is a fight going on between high pressure developing up over Scandinavia. So there's your northern block and developing. And of course, without very cold air, within the continent, you're not really transporting a tremendous amount of cold in. So we're not going to get a beast from the east, anything like that. But it's going to be interesting to see how much chilly air can get involved in the pattern over Central Europe. And then if we can turn our winds in from the east, of course, crossing over water temperatures of 6 to 8 Celsius over the North Sea, of course, bringing winds, and it feels distinctly chilly out there in that wind. So next week is going to get interesting, I think, in terms of the type of temperature profile that we develop. And as we go forward here, it looks as if high pressure is going to try to build back over Greenland once again. Speaking of that, this is the GFS ensemble here, upcoming 5-day period. We've got, of course, the negative up over the Arctic region at the moment, the North Atlantic. We've got a positive extending from Iberia up through the UK and into the Norwegian Sea. But as we play through this loop, I know it's not a great view. I'm trying to make it easier for you to actually see what I'm showing you. But you can see here, this is off the GFS ensemble, and how we build heights back up towards Greenland and Iceland here, and you would look towards a trough underneath that. And if you notice here, looking at the CFS V2, I know I'm kind of bouncing around here. In fact, let's have a look at the European view of the GFS ensemble. That would make sense, wouldn't it? And you can see here what takes place. We'll start to build heights strongly to the north of the British Isles, as you can see here, low pressure over the north of Africa, if you notice. And as we play through the loop, we start to develop blocking high pressure to the north. Low pressure, look at the negative, over France, over Iberia, extending into the southern half of the UK. This is Wednesday, the 20th of April, by the way. And what I think we're going to start to see is potentially warmer weather, better weather across the northern half of the British Isles, cooler, more unsettled weather underneath that. So France could see some pretty wet days and some distinctly chilly days as well underneath that area of low pressure. And I think that could be something that we need to look and consider for the month of May, because if you notice here off the CFSV2 for the May forecast, we've got a white area here extending from Iberia up through to Ireland here. That indicates there could be some sort of a negative anomaly in the 500 millibar pattern during the month of May, and that could try to kind of trigger some kind of wet days, cool days over, even over the UK itself. Looking at the precipitation anomaly for the month of May, that's quite a wet pattern actually. France, in northern Iberia, extending up towards British Isles and Ireland, especially over Scotland, if you notice here, as with the presence of low pressure either to the west or the south of the UK during the month of May. So this is what we're looking at the moment, and that would all coincide nicely with the type of downwelling that we're seeing within the stratosphere into the troposphere, all the effects of March taking place here, and that can linger into the summer season and create some very disappointing weather indeed. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. Arctic oscillation is going back positive, as you can see here, but notice it's going back towards negative towards the end of the month of April. That's quite interesting. However, the North Atlantic oscillation is projected to go more positive and then trending back towards neutral once again. The Met Office actually has a pretty cool and wet summer actually in their forecast, so it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be quite a tough call, I think, this year with various dynamics in place with regards to the actual summer season. But this is something that right here in the channel I'm looking at, and I'm going to try and really hone in on in the coming weeks here as we go forward. So I do appreciate, as always, you watching the videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do, of course, drop a wee comment. And, of course, sub to the channel and hit the bell button for the notification so you don't miss any latest upload. So, hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and I will be back on Saturday with more. Bye for now.